Thank you, Anthony. Thank you, Anna, for your very insightful and informative presentations. I have seen that in our chat there were some questions already posted and answered. Okay, I see one more question, so maybe I can read it. And it relates to our first presentation, Anthony's presentation. And the question is whether Euraccess centers provide consultations directly via Alfred or primarily via other communication channels.
Well, the French Euraccess centers provide their services, consultations, personally to their guest researchers. That is to say, face-to-face, by phone, by email, even chats. And they do this on a daily basis.
Thank you. Thank you for your answer. Then our next question relates to a second part of the presentation. So who was the MOBIS designed by? The university IT department or an outside company? So question for Ms. Mitnerova. You are muted. You need to unmute yourself. I will try to do it.
Yes, it's okay now.
Now we can hear you.
It was designed in cooperation with the company, and the company as well designed our manager information system. So there was necessary to communicate with this company and to design our needs, because it was a very new system, the first system in Czech Republic, and we were cooperating with as well our IT department, and we were there people who were from the project center, because our demand was that in this MOBIS system we're uploading the information from the management information system. It means the name of the principal investigator, if the grant is valid or running, or if already terminated. So it took, I mean, 1.5 or 2 years to develop the system. There was a lot of meetings, and we started to use this system in 2019, and from the beginning our people from department were not so much happy, because they needed to fill in this nomination. But today we are very satisfied with this system, because it connects all the parts of the university HR department, our department, the departments where are the foreigners hosted, and we can communicate with the foreigners before they will come to Czech Republic, so they can fill in their data online. The foreigner can be in India, and we can communicate through this system with him, and he can upload all the information, passport and diploma, and if sometimes is needed anything else, he can upload everything into the system, and it is not sent by email, so the data are much more secured.
Thank you. Thank you for your answers. Now, another question to both of our speakers relates to improvement of timing. So how have the systems improved timings for incorporation of researchers? How difficult are the immigration procedures in France and the Czech Republic?
It's quite difficult. It's changing constantly, and I think it makes our work, the Euraccess work, very difficult. you need to wait for the precedent law to be applied before you are able to. Well, it's changing constantly. It makes our work so difficult. I thought it would be much easier at the beginning, but it's not like research. You do an experiment and then it works or it doesn't work. Our leaders they like to change the rules regularly, so it's quite difficult to adapt ourselves.
And now it's my turn. Yes.
Yes, you can.
Now in Czech Republic, it takes minimum 60 days from applying for a visa, the issuing of the visa, but practically it takes maybe 70 or 80 days. And it is from the time of applying visa. But before applying for a visa, the researcher needs to send the hosting agreement or invitation letter to the Czech embassy abroad. And before filling or generating the hosting agreement, we have to be sure that the our Holy Trinity proves that the researcher can be hosted in our university. So the whole process takes minimum 3 months, and it is when if all this all goes smoothly. Yes. And it is very, very difficult sometimes because in some countries the researchers can apply for the visa only at the beginning of the month, and then the capacity is full, and they have to wait to other months. I mean that the situation is not easy. And therefore, it is very good if we can communicate through electronic tools, not to sending the letters, and because it is as well very expensive when you send the post to the third countries.
Thank you. Another question to you, Ms. Mitnerova, is about costs related to MOBIS system establishment and then maintaining, if you could maybe.
No, I am not able to tell you the cost because we had the big funding from the Ministry of Education through the European Structural Fund, and this MOBIS system was part of this grant. But I have to say that it was in thousands or maybe million more. I don't know exactly the number, but it was not cheap. But I mean that it was very useful, and it was a good decision to develop the system. And we as well were dealing with the University of Ostrava, and in this university they as well designed this system. And each university has a different system of internal electronic management system. So it is very important to, when you start to develop this system, to communicate with the IT managers and to know how to connect internal system of the university with this mobility information system.
Thank you. We are running out of time, but maybe the last question, we can address the last question that also is addressed to Ms. Mitnerova, and it relates to the question of GDPR. So how, in terms of GDPR, how is the hosting staff authorized to fill in the personal data on behalf of guests. So how is this consent dealt with, whether it is requested via the selection procedure? So maybe if you could briefly also answer this.
There is therefore the system or the process divided into 2 steps. In this nomination, there are very simple data, only name, surname. We need to know the private email, private telephone, and of the foreigner, and there are as well data like there are some mandatory data and not mandatory data. But what is very important to know if from which country the foreigner is and how long he will stay here, and if the foreigner will be financed from our sources or the sources of his university. And when it is approved, the second step is this registration. And in this registration, the researcher, the foreigner researcher, has the access to only his file and no one else. Only HR department officer who is concluding the working contract, and the mobility coordinator, it is the person from the welcome office, and the mobility assistant, it is the person who looks after this researcher. And I mean that this system is preventing the data according to GDPR. We don't use the data in any other system.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your answers. Okay, as we are running out of time, I would like to use this opportunity to thank once again to our dear speakers for their time, for sharing their expertise and best practices. And I'm sure that these presentations will provide inspiration for our dear audience to maybe implement similar practices at their institutions. So thank you once again, dear Anthony and Anna. Thank you all for your presentations, and I would like to thank to our audience for their engagement as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much,
Yeah.
Daniela.
Thank you,
everyone.
Thank you very much, and you are welcome, and goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.